What's up, music fans of the internet? I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
And together we are last week's album, The Only Reviews, with two different views. And in this episode, we're talking about the new album by Aaron Einhouse called It Ain't Pretty, and asking the question on this album, how does Aaron rough up country and rock? So let's get into it. Cheers, Derek, and everyone at home.
Cheers, Kevin, everyone at home.
A little background on Aaron Einhouse. He is a country artist based right here in Austin, Texas. This is his fourth album. It comes 2 years after his last record, which was called Blue Collar Troubadour. And full disclosure, we do know Aaron. So let's talk about what this record sounds like. Derek, what do you think?
Kevin, I think on It Ain't Pretty, Aaron Einhouse sounds like shades of Steve Earle and Slaid Cleaves, telling tales of life's other side.
Ah, gotcha. Can hear those references. I think it sounds like Hayes Carll, Reckless Kelly, and Chris Knight get together to paint a picture of real life.
Let me guess, it ain't pretty.
Well played, Derek. All right, let's talk about some highlights from the album. First up, I have the intro track, Dancin. It almost starts off like Radar Love, and then this sort of bouncing beat, wailing harmonica, fast-paced lyrics. Later in the track, there's some country fried guitar. He sings, can't keep dancing on the edge of a knife. It's kind of about finding his balance between being a touring musician and a family man. But I thought kicked off the album pretty well.
Kevin, yeah, I totally agree. I really dug the high energy, and I really like how the lyrics drew this metaphor between living life on the edge of your toes and the similar activity that is the track title, Dancin. This one was a great album opener.
It also gets right to the heart of the album, and he's dealing with a little bit deeper, darker material than he has in the past. So despite the upbeat feel of it, there are some very meaningful lyrics here.
Really kind of foreshadowing to kind of the rest of what is to come.
Next up for highlights, I've got track number 7, Thinking of You. And this is a little bit of a left turn for Aaron, and I like that because of it. It's a more bluesy love ballad, really soulful vocals, popping drums, pining organ even in the track. And like I mentioned, it takes a break from his more standard country and rock, a refreshing change of pace with this more bluesy, soulful ballad.
Here there were some electric guitars that really kind of built the intensity, just the way they were choppy in the background, kind of hinting at some rage to be unleashed, if you will. And I thought it was elements like that that really added this raw rock edge to his otherwise country background sound.
Absolutely. Any other highlights?
It Ain't Pretty was really good. One he wrote with Hal Ketchum. The pedal steel guitar, I thought, really added to the lyrical poignancy. I thought that kind of did that throughout this album. The pedal steel was kind of a new addition to Aaron's band, and I thought it really helped add to the texture of his sound. And I really liked that My Susannah, just, again, this kind of harkens to the darker lyrical tone. It's a song about a man who kind of follows the footsteps of his wife, if you will, and finds she's cheating on him. And so just that is a, rather dark, more complex, nuanced topic. And I thought he did it really well. And there was, again, a kind of edge to that song that really added to that intensity.
A nice murder waltz, deeper material, and definitely darker as he sits outside his wife's lover's house with a gun in the car and a bottle of some sort. You can tell things aren't going to end well there. It's a great track. I enjoyed that one as well. I also like the fall of Eli Wilde. It was a little bit more like, swamp funk, kind of upbeat.
Yeah, the sound was definitely upbeat through and through.
I think that helps the song. While the lyrics may be dark and difficult, the sounds sort of keep it interesting and juxtapose against that vibe.
And the quick pace also doesn't allow these darker themes to become monotonous or weary.
Yeah, for sure.
Because life comes at you hard and fast.
Yeah. All right, those are some great highlights. Let's talk about some lowlights. Not a whole lot on my end, but one thing in particular that I wanted to hear more of. I think Aaron gives us a lot of mood songs and a few character studies. I wish there were more story songs. I think My Susannah and The Fall of Eli Wilde are starting to get there, But I'd like to hear more in that vein, and I wish those stories were a little bit maybe longer and more fleshed out. Both of them are kind of left open-ended, and, that's a great style for some stories. But I don't know, I just wanted a little more meat and a few more stories, because I thought those were going in good places.
Just to play devil's advocate, life doesn't always wrap itself easily, like, an after-school special. But even being able to build some of these tableaus, to create some of these characters is complicated enough, especially like we mentioned in My Susannah. Like, that's not an easy scene to cast.
All right, let's move on to overall rating and answering the big question on It Ain't Pretty. How does Aaron rough up country and rock?
Kevin, I think Aaron roughs up country and rock by throwing them at each other at high rates of speed. Beyond that, I think he introduces elements of both very well. A lot of the electric guitar parts add a lot of rock feel, but at the same time, kind of the pedal steel adds a lot of country feel. Things I really liked, especially here were the lyrics, dark, complicated storylines and subject matters. And I think he tackled these areas very well. I think the music really added to the emotion and intensity, a really intriguing and engaging listen. That's why I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5.
Right on. We will agree for the most part. How does Aaron rough up country and rock? I think just enough. I think the production here is really, really well done. I think a lot of the band's sort of live energy comes across. Derek, as you mentioned, there's a lot of good upbeat energy to this overall record, and I think that's one of its biggest highlights. There's a lot more serious material here than Aaron has written in the past, and I think that's a great step forward. A lot more grown-up topics, a little bit more emotional meat to connect with on these songs. Everything from country to rock to even a little swamp and folk, like we mentioned. And I think Aaron has a great voice and some really talented musicians. The addition of harmonica and keys and the pedal steel stand out really well on this record. So I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. And with Derek's 4, that's a combined 7 out of 10. So definitely check out It Ain't Pretty by Aaron Einhouse and let us know what you think of the record. And don't forget to subscribe to us here at Last Week's Album, either on YouTube or the podcast. Thanks for watching. As always, I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
Cheers, guys. We'll see you next time.